You know, when two things are the opposite of each other, but exactly alike, it's a situation where you would call it the flip side of the same coin. Now, that can apply to things, inanimate objects, but it can also apply to people. One thing I can't figure out is we always talk about our heroes of the past, such as Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Dr. King, Medgar Evers, Thurgood Marshall, and the likes. But it seems like they're on a coin all by themselves. Because when you flip their coin over on the other side, there is no one to continue their work. There is no people today that are like them. What we have today representing Black people as heroes, it's a far cry from what they were. We'll talk about it. Gangsta Talk up next. All right, Dan.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5. Bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game going for fine.
Alright.
And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for this ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beef is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5. Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player paid. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see him sprayed. But I'm like Nitty, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off. Using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Invested in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. Yeah, get you on, I get down for mine. I get down for this. I get down for mine. I get down for this. On the regular shit, turn over here. I get down for mine. I get down for this. I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't someplace you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. With this a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze. Overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. McCarmers a Buddhist monk. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical, lyrics are sticking the brains like barnacles. Never sleep, I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. 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 On the regular, shake it, no fear. I get down for mine. I get down for mine.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sunday's Easter edition of Gangsta Talk. Hope everybody enjoyed their Easter. Mine was kind of weird. It's been a while since I've been to church. It, I remember when Easter was a pretty much a fashion show. You know, back in the 70s and the 80s, everybody wore their best. You know, people actually went clothes shopping just so they can have a spectacular outfit for Easter Sunday. And man, oh man, it was a real fashion show. I mean, people showed up in zoot suits, Stacey Adams, Godfather brims. The women had these big bonnets on and dresses, and I mean, it was something to behold. I miss those days because I realized those days back then, Black people had character, they had quality about themselves. They were really focused and they were about being good people. Fast forward to today, things are much different from then. Things don't have any feeling anymore. They don't have feeling anymore. You know, sitting up there, I didn't feel anything. Back in the day, I used to feel all kinds of ways. I mean, you felt energy, you know, especially as a young brother wearing a suit, you know, before you even understood what Easter was all about. You just wanted to show up and get noticed by the girls that were there. You wanted the girl to see you in the suit. You know, you wanted her to see you at your cleanest and your finest, right? Hopefully you can catch her attention, and after church was over, throw her a wink and maybe she'll give you the time of day. And, you know, we kind of hung out afterwards at the local, sometimes one of the local parlors would open up for ice cream sundaes and potato chips, and they did it pretty much for families and kids, right? And you would go there with your family and everybody would hang out and you see the girl in church and you walked up with your suit on, clacking with your Stacey Adams on, your hat broke to the side. Hey, baby, how you doing? And most likely she wouldn't give you the time of day because her name wasn't Baby. But see, back then we had to have manners in order to speak to a girl. You don't have that anymore. You know, when I look back on those days, I really appreciate what parents did back then, how they taught their children manners. There was an etiquette when you spoke. You didn't just walk up to a girl and say, hey, shorty, hey, baby, hey, ho, and all this other crap. You presented yourself like a gentleman. When you spoke, you said, hello, how are you? My name is. What is your name? And things like that. And you were respectful. Nowadays, didn't see that. I don't see that. I see young boys calling girls whores and bees and shorties. Even in church, they're calling women bees, calling them whores. I guess it's a far cry from what we used to be. Kind of makes me wonder, what are we now? Which leads me to another situation. You know, these so-called scholars online, they're always talking about the past. And when they bring up the past, they often mention the heroes of the past, such as Marcus Garvey, such as Malcolm X, King, Thurgood Marshall, Medgar Evers, Vernon Johns. They talk about what those men did, what those men represented. Funny though, the title of this show is called Flip Side of the Same Coin. Usually when you have an expression like that, it means that there's somebody exactly the same as another person. They just do things a little differently, but they are the same. Well, when it comes to being the other side of the coin, when it comes down to the heroes of the past, well, on that side of the coin, we seem to have dating coaches, men who are worthless, men who add nothing to Black society. Now, when you talk about the heroes of the past, such as King, Evers, and Thurgood Marshall, and Malcolm X, these men were an asset to Black society. They changed the way we live in some kind of way. These men are world renowned. That achievement in itself is remarkable. A world renowned name, a world renowned identity. That's not easy to do, people. You have to put the work in, and that work has to be recognized by people of all walks of life to be world renowned. King is known all over the world. They know about Dr. King in China. They know about Dr. King in the Philippines. They know about Dr. King in Norway, Russia, Africa. Malcolm X all over the world. World renowned. That is no mean feat. So fast forward to today, where are the heroes today that are assets to Black society? We have men who are famous for disrespecting women. Men who have taken it upon themselves to become self-appointed advisors to Black women. I'm not sure when Black women ask for these types of men, but they seem to have appointed themselves advisors of Black women and seem to know what Black women want and what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And at the same time, programming young boys to absolutely disrespect the very women that they say they are giving advice to. You know, the word talent is very, very tricky. I used to know what it means. Now I'm not sure, because when you have people who are known for hurting other people, putting other people down, demeaning other people, disrespecting people, hurting people, and they call that a talent. I guess what I'm trying to get at, the flip side of the coin of the heroes of yesteryear seems to be corrupted with villains, not heroes, villains. We have today, we give our attention to confidence men, men who create gimmicks to catch our attention and feed our insatiable lust for drama. So it makes me wonder, what have we become as Black people? Where are we as Black people? We need to take a look at ourselves. If we have people like this, like guys like Kevin Samuels, Bernard Riley, Black Ram, you know, the list goes on, Tommy Sotomayor. But we have guys like that who are famous and can garner your attention, even to the point where you support them and they do nothing but spew hatred for Black women and Black people. And they are famous. We have made these people famous. So that means that there's something wrong with us, not them, because they are who they are. But what about us? What about the rest of us? Who are we? Is that who we are? Is that who we put up on a pedestal and praise as a hero? I mean, we have men making podcast after podcast, praising guys like Kevin Samuels and Tommy Sotomayor. They're not praising anybody the caliber of Dr. King or Medgar Evers or Thurgood Marshall or Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X. No, they're praising guys the caliber of Garfield, Dr. Zeus, the Cat in the Hat, Bugs Bunny, the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Heckle and Jekyll, the Flintstones. They're praising guys on that caliber and hoisting them up like a flag for all to see, and dare call them heroes and people to look up to. So I'm concerned with what has happened to us. This is what we've become. I mean, have we gotten to the point now to where we can't tell friends from foe, a hero from a villain? It would be one thing if you was behind somebody like Dr. Claude Anderson, but most of you don't even want to give him the time of day. Now, he is somebody that is worthy to be mentioned in the same breath as a Garvey or X or a King, but you don't want to pay him any attention. When we talk about John Henry Clark, it's just a brief mention. I mean, you guys don't even bring up guys like Stokely Carmichael, Fred Hammond. And so we got guys who are known for being dating coaches. Understand something. A black man, okay, when you look at Marcus Garvey and you look at Malcolm X, these people gave their lives for what they believed in because they loved their people to the point where they were willing to give up their lives to see that their people would prosper, to see that their people were led in the right direction. So when we get down to these dating coaches, I don't understand what is their contribution to black people. You know, don't tell me that they're important. Are you saying that it's more important for a guy to learn from another guy who can't keep a woman how to get a woman? How is that important? How is that helping us as black people? How is that changing our position for the better? How is that helping us get out of a losing position? How is it that a man comes on social media out of nowhere, talking crazy to black women, putting them down, telling them that they have unrealistic expectations and they can't date who they want to date because there's restrictions, he's put restrictions on them. Telling them that, oh no, you're average. You can't date anybody out of your average range. So a waitress can't date a millionaire can't date a waitress because of the ridiculous standards that this man has set for black women. And what's even worse about it is you have black women listening to him, actually calling into a show for advice. So it kind of makes you wonder what the hell is going on in reality today. A while back, I read something in the Bible talking about there'll come a time where we won't know one season from the other, and that the wrong things will look right and the right things will look wrong. I believe that that's the time that we're in right now, because you can't tell me that we're not in a situation where we can't tell if the right thing is wrong or the wrong thing is right. I mean, look who we have who are famous among us. Lowlives, bums, evil men are being put up on pedestals, and you have more and more men adding to those numbers. I mean, I see podcasts, and what kills me is when a black man does something positive or does something right, there are no podcasts about it. You don't find any podcasts about black men doing anything real. But you find one podcast after another of black men cheering on a black man putting a woman in her place. I mean, it's a cheerleader section. This guy, Kevin Samuels, has become a hero amongst many, many black men. That in itself is pathetic. That is your hero? Seriously? That's your Medgar Evers? That's your Marcus Garvey? That's your Dr. King? That's your Malcolm X? Guys like Tommy Sotomayor, that's your hero? I mean, at some point, you have to take a look at yourself as black men and say, man, what are we doing? What the hell is wrong with us? What the F are we doing? We can't do better than this. We don't have any real heroes out here. We don't have any real brothers out here that we can get behind on some real stuff. We got to get behind a bunch of guys who do nothing but teach us hatred for our own women. These men have no respect for your mother. They have no respect for your daughter. They have no respect for your sister, your auntie, your grandmother. Absolutely no respect. I mean, these guys call their own mothers bees. They've had podcasts with one guy after another talking about how much he hates his mother. And that's what you're putting on the pedestal. That's what you're putting up here and praising as a hero. I mean, it's the equivalent of setting yourself on fire, getting a gun and shooting yourself in the foot. That's where we are. Now, when you're talking about flip side of the same coin, when you look at Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson, it's the same guy. Same guy. One tells you what you want to hear, but he hides the abuse. He tells you what you want to hear, and while you're mesmerized by what he's saying and his physique, he's abusing you behind closed doors. He's a womanizer. He's sleeping with this woman and that woman, disrespecting his wife, has absolutely no respect for his wife and child. But yet he's telling you other guys don't have any respect. He's telling you other black men are messed up. And then on the flip side, you have Kevin Samuels, who's abusing you outright, claiming that he's telling you what you want to hear with the abuse up front. But it's the same guy. One is just a little more subtle than the other. One hides his abuse. The other one don't give a damn. The flip side of the same coin. These guys are the same coin. So I mean, as a black man, I have to believe that we can do better than guys like that. I mean, with all of the stuff that's going on here in our society, all of the problems that we face, children are being killed, women are being killed, young black men are being murdered. And then you add to the effeminization. You add to it the demonic music industry. Well, we have real problems, serious problems, and we need real black men to help solve these problems. We are supposed to be problem solvers, not problem makers. Now, when you go back to the Garveys, the Marshalls, the Kings, the X's, these were men who were problem solvers. These were men who were courageous. They were willing to get out here in the street and be about what they talked about. Facing racism, facing death threats, facing all kinds of adversity, these men were strong and they were fearless. They were warriors. And they gave their lives. Say what you want about King, but King was fearless. So where are we now? Where are the new heroes? Where are the new heroes to carry the mantles? Kevin Samuels, that's your new hero? Because you guys get behind him and throw him up there like he is, a part of the Marvel universe, like he's one of the Avengers. Tommy Sotomayor is another one of your heroes. The Manosphere, seriously? The SYSBM, that's where we're at right now as black men. We can't do any better than that. We can't get a real hero. We can't create a real hero. The heroes have to be people who are hurting black people, who are a detriment to black people, who demean black people. That's the best we can do. We have to be able to do better than that. I mean, you think about it, right? We have in our society now, we have black men who are known for doing negative things, famous, and they have support. They have support from a lot of black people. I mean, we're already screwed up. We know that. But we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot when we put the attention and focus on men who do nothing but demean us. And they aren't an asset to us at all. They are a detriment to us. So, am I surprised at Derrick Jackson? Absolutely not. There's plenty of Derrick Jacksons out there. They're just not on social media. You think he's the first one? Absolutely not. There are some out there who are even better than him, who go undetected, and who've been doing it longer, and who's absolutely better at it than he is. So he's not the first. Him and Kevin Samuels are the same guy. Both of them are abusive to women. Both of them are disrespectful. One is just an outright liar, and the other one just don't give a shit. So, where are we as black men? Where are we? Our fruit is barren. Our fruit is rotten. Our fruit is telling people that we are incapable of getting ourselves out of a losing position. And when you look at our behavior and you look at our attitude towards our position, one would say that we have no interest in getting ourselves out of a losing position. We are in last place, people. And we seem to be competing for the top spot at the very bottom, when we have nothing but dating coaches to fall back on. We're losing. When we have nothing but men who womanize women and abuse women and spew nothing but hatred and disrespect towards our women and children, we're losing. When our women are more fearless than us, we're losing. When we do nothing but complain about women rather than getting out here and changing the situation for the better and coming up with solutions, we're losing.
Okay. A little network problem. All right. So So you hear these two men are the flip side of the same coin. They both abusing women. They both using women. Yeah, so they just grabbing the attention of two different groups of women, but basically they're doing the same thing to both of them. And it's a shame how many men are following, and even worse, how many women are following them, and still following them. I mean, they seen and heard them say some of the worst things. And yet we still got them following, still taking advice, still listening to them. You know, could understand before that you didn't know, believe they're telling the truth, but now you know they're not. And yet we still got them. And it's pathetic that these men, the men on YouTube, these groups are following them because they abusing women. These guys are doing what they wish to do: use and abuse women. And yeah, so this is what we come down to, where men are abusing and using women, proud of it, in fact. And it's spread now into, it's not just some nonsense or some crazy rhetoric on YouTube. It is spread now into, it's spread now into the real world. We seen signs of it. Hey, bro, speak. Yeah, and running from one to the other. You know, uh, the man that told us what we want to hear, he is abusing and using women. The man that's supposedly telling the truth and making it hurt with it, and he's abusing and using women. All right.
Okay, I'm back, yo. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Someone named Renaissance Man 208 wants to know if you can drop the link. He think y'all have something on common grounds on this issue.
Yeah. Drop the link. Shout out to Renaissance Man 2008, Bro Speak, Hassan, Morris Anthony. Yeah, man. It's just a really sad situation when I look around social media and then I look at the overall state.
Max, your volume dropped. Okay, he'll be back. All right. There's the link. Okay. Yeah, so it's a sad point. Now, you know, yeah, dating coaches is a little bit unusual. I'm used to matchmakers, and they help you in the dating scene, but the point is to date, to match, to marry. These these so-called dating coaches, in some cases, are pickup artists, or at least a lot of them are. How to lie, use, abuse women so you can pump and dump. Yeah, but now he's now we got them where they trying to be dating coaches to women. You know what you need to do, the things, the changes you need to make, attitudes you need to change, uh, um, um, and then every time there's a woman that meets that, they keep changing it. Your low income, how you can't expect to get these their equivalency of a high value man or the six figure dude because either she's low income on welfare, she got kids. She's over 25. And then they start going into the dress size. What's your dress size? You too overweight. You too big. Excuse me. Dress size don't mean anything. I seen some women in a bigger dress size. You didn't know they were bigger. And then there's some women who's in the so-called smaller size, single digit size. But to the appearance, for some people, for some reason, people keep thinking they're overweight. Shucks, most of them don't even know what's considered overweight for women. And that women got to have a little bit of fat on it. They're biologically wired to have it. That's why if they get below a certain percentage, they can't have kids. Because if they at that low percentage and somehow manage to get pregnant, it would be the death of them and the child, or the child, either and or. So we biologically wired not to lose a certain percentage. But according to them, that would be overweight. Okay. All right. We've been noticing a lot of the two sides of the same coin. People floating around YouTube. Instead of looking for high value, maybe we should be looking for a man with high values. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Renaissance man. Okay, you stay mute till Max
Hey,
get back.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I ran into Max on we were on RBR's panel, and he yesterday, and he wanted me to come to his channel, and I just happened to see he was live. Um and I so I wanted to come up because I've heard I really don't go on the dating coaches page as much in
Hmm.
this space in YouTube in general. I try to stay away just because um I don't know, and you can maybe speak to this. It seems kind of manufactured. I don't hear people outside of YouTube talking like this. I don't know if you have an opinion on that.
Yeah, I pretty much seen. I haven't seen it outside of YouTube. You know, when I ask, they ask if these guys are gay or this is something wrong or they have a personal problem. Don't be projecting their personal problems on me. Type of attitude. Hey, he just don't like women, or they just don't get it. It's like something wrong with these dudes.
Yeah, I just don't hear this type. I mean, people have always speculated on there's a gender war. I do think to a certain extent, from what I've seen, um, that there is maybe some sort of, I guess, hostility on some level
Mm-hmm.
between black men and black women, but certainly not even close to the extent that is that, like I said, is hyped up on YouTube, and you could even go with the media, because a lot of this, from what I've seen, goes back to like the 70s and 80s, and I guess maybe even 90s, with some of these daytime talk shows and some of these talking points. Some of it's based in reality, but like I said, I think anytime you have the media and the internet involved, it takes something and it hypes it up even more.
Mm-hmm. I think it is even worse than that. I think it's taking a situation, blowing out proportion. I'm gonna say from the woman point of view. Woman's upset at her man. She's mad. She's fed up. She kicks him out, and she's talking bad about him. But she's not talking bad about all black men. She's talking specifically about him, her man, her situation. And when she says stuff like "I don't need him," she's not saying she don't need a man. She's saying I don't need him. That's where the phrase "I can do bad all by myself," comes through. But for some reason, these groups blow this out of proportion and they make it sound like all black women, and they're talking about all black men. They're like, no, they're talking about their man that they were involved with. But I've seen a little bit of the other side of the coin, but it's like we got caught up in the middle of a couple's fighting. And they want you to take sides. And each one telling you their problem with the other. The only thing is, you don't really know this couple. So most of the time you might take the side of what you're familiar with. I understand her point of view, so I take her side. And the guys, I understand his point of view, so I take his side. And it's getting drawn in. Was started off as I guess, for a place for men to vent, just like women have places they vent. That's what it started being. But instead of venting and moving forward and going on, they just feeding into each other's anger or problems. And then they're trying to make it where it's every black woman. Well, instead of the women they dealt with.
Well, from what I understand, because some of the channels I go on, people said that they wanted the space to sort of be sort of a men's self-improvement type of space.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of a place where, men could come, network, advice on kind of anything. Someone once said, they took the barbershop and they put it on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what it was. And there are certain spaces where you can go, even in black sector of YouTube, and whether you want to learn about tech or trucking or getting in business in general, getting into IT, there are spaces for that.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened, and from people I've associate with on and actually talk to outside of YouTube, they essentially say that this space became overran with dating coaches and pretty much what you would call either POA, more in the greater society you would call POAs, or referred to in this space as game people, game guys, guys who are basically talking about how to get women, and that's sort of what's overrun the space. And a lot of them are doing this for money.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, because for me, I'm relatively younger. I'm only 31. But when I see a man, even at my age, I would have a hard time taking someone who's in their early to mid 30s seriously if they can get on YouTube, cam up, and basically say, "Hey, I'm a dating coach." It's just like I know what I'm doing in my life. I know what men are doing when they get even older, and it's just like if you really went out in real life and said, "Hey, this guy gets on YouTube and is a dating coach," I mean, you're just gonna kind of get looked at, like laughed at in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
like people who have really something going on can't afford to get involved in these type of topics. I mean, it would be bad for their brand, whether they be in someone who is like owns their own business or someone who's a professional, whatever they got going on. I mean, I've literally seen this where, even black content creators who are more focused on like, personal finance and, wealth building, they'll be like, I can't come on this panel. I can't talk about this topic. It's too ratchet. I can't do this to my brand. So,
Mm-hmm.
I already look at some of these guys sideways to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem also is that some of these are in their 40s and 50s and claiming to be dating coaches, but they're not involved into a long-term relationship. It seems like it's more like getting the women to have sex and move on. And I say, usually when I hear about dating coaches, it's usually affiliated with matchmaking, and that's they help you improve your dating skills so you can meet the person you want to marry, you know, or ask the right questions, or improve on your technique. But a lot of these seem to be more like hit it and quit it type relationships.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with D Darrell at all. He's a YouTuber.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with his channel.
No, I don't believe I am.
Okay, he's actually a licensed therapist. Has his
Hmm.
own practice. Has periodically done videos and things like that. On just therapy in general, and he's been very critical of the dating coaches, um, from a professional perspective
Hmm.
of the advice they give, how it's not really conducive to a long term relationship. Um, the things that they're advising people on are not they're just not things that are going to lead to long term relationship. And then as you pointed out, they themselves are either divorced, so they didn't they have not made their relationships work, or they've never been married at all.
Yeah.
Um, and they're giving others advice.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What seemed to be the sticker is, why are more people getting this? They got huge following. There's um, men and women following these people, and yet they're not taking that into account. Mm.
It's entertainment, in my opinion. And that's kind of the sad part of it. I saw Roland Martin did a video on Kevin Samuel saying what he was doing is brilliant, but that kind of goes to the moral issue of things of, what's the trade off here? Something may be brilliant and make a lot of money, but is it detrimental to your community?
Hmm.
Those are the moral questions that people have to wrestle with. And if you had a stronger community, that you would have to wrestle with. But I mean, honestly, if you had a stronger community, someone like Kevin Samuels would just be seen as entertainment. Um, and maybe he is just entertainment. He does get a lot of views, but who's to say some of these women he's not paying them to call into his show?
Yeah, that's been a question mark about that. Because um, as far as we're concerned, no woman would take his advice, or the moment he started insulting them, they would have left. And
The,
but
the,
yet,
oh,
but
go ahead.
the problem is there's a younger group of young men, and they're following these dating coaches and stuff. and they also picking up on these horrible rhetorics of these other men spaces like the manosphere, cispin, red pillars, and we're seeing evidence that they're actually responding to it.
Wait. Where are they saying they're seeing evidence that people are responding to it?
Okay, all right. Okay, a lot of the cispins means to save yourself, black man. At least the one we talking about. There, well, maybe okay. One of the guys that killed his girlfriend, while she's dead, he's apologizing, saying he had to save himself. Nobody knows what he had to save himself from because he killed himself. And it's like, as far as we know, or as far as the police have been able to, there was no danger, but he felt he needed to save himself, and he did this on a live.
This was a YouTuber.
As far as the guy who did it, I don't know. He's a YouTuber. I never heard of him before. He done this.
Okay.
But it's the huge YouTube is big enough where there's whole sections I might not have been in. I don't know if he was a regular YouTuber, or as a content creator YouTuber. It's possible he could have been, a subscriber, a sub, but he went live on YouTube, and you see him telling his dead girlfriend, "Sorry, babe, I had to save myself." I was like, "From what?" She didn't have no weapon. He's the only one that had a weapon in the house. There was no sign that she grabbed a knife or something, or what was she do, or what she did that he had to save himself by killing her and her mother. Yeah, and the lack of the respect, the attacks that have been increasing on black women, black girls.
No, I understand your concern.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the rhetoric. I think honestly, a lot for most people, they probably don't get too wrapped up in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's already the people who are a little bit unstable in whatever way, who may be the ones who are at risk of do something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you just described. I hope, and this is just me speculating. I don't think the everyday rank and file black person is thinking, or even the youth are thinking like that. But I mean, youth are influential in that sense. They're still at that age where they're developing. But like I said, I think a lot of it is rhetoric on YouTube. I will say this: the only point I agree with Kevin on, but it kind of cuts both ways, is I think there are women and men who have unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
When I say it cuts both ways, Kevin comes at things from, in my mind, a very I can tell he's older,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of when he starts talking about a man who he deems as high value, which he says is like $120,000 a year. He seems to think that man is only looking for look in a partner. Me being younger and doing a little bit more study, I think he's looking at like sort of an outdated model in, maybe in the time he grew up in, a guy would just, who was well off would just marry a woman just because of her looks. But now what you're seeing is it's really people don't marry someone who's really outside of their socioeconomic status. So if someone's like, you know, a doctor, that person's not just going to go marry, a waitress, whether it be a male or a female.
Uh-huh.
I mean, just because when you look at their day-to-day lives, they're not dating is a matter of proximity, and
Mhm.
people are getting married later. Um, because I mean, these are phenomenons that people have talked about in the greater society as well, where, say, 40 years ago, men got married younger and they may have married like their high school sweetheart or something like that. Now you got people getting married later. It's like, okay, if you take someone who's 25, 30, or in between and getting married and they're in their career, you know, they're going to marry someone who's kind of in their network. And their network's going to be made up a lot of times of their peers. So you're talking about like maybe some people you maintain some friendships with, but more than likely, I know for me, if you've maintained friendships, those have probably been people that, you've gone on to college with, or, you did some sort of, professional training with, things like that. Um, as well as, if you look at like maybe if you're someone who goes to church or something like that, they're going to be people that are sort of at your level. So if you like it's unrealistic for either party to, I mean, okay, if you look at someone like Barack and Michelle Obama,
Mhm.
you know they met at their law firm. They had both been to law school, they were both lawyers, they met, they got married. They're two people who were relatively similarly of accomplishment. That's what I mean by, people marrying people like them. So likewise, if you're a man who's not that accomplished, you can't expect that from a woman either. This, beautifully attractive or accomplished woman to be really, to have a chance at a woman like that as well, just because of what I just highlighted. It cuts both ways. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. I think that is true to a certain extent, but he is also telling. Okay, there are more and more women getting into owning their own businesses. So right now they have moved outside of their initial uh, uh, money level. So they trying to deal with get to know men that's closer in income than they are, who's business minded like they are. Um, and he's telling them because of their looks that give it up, or because they have a child, or because they're a certain age that um, they shouldn't even bother. You know, yeah. So that's where there's a conflict there. Okay, so she's no longer in her same tax bracket. I'm gonna just go with tax bracket because that's the closest I can do. And she has tried, dating within her initial income, and it never been it hasn't been successful. Okay, so she's this time she's hoping to have a relationship with somebody, you know, who's as driven as she is, makes the same amount of money that she does, who's not going to use her for the money because they got their own money. They don't need to be with her for her money. Hmm.
The only thing I would say on that is, yeah, it depends on, um, it depends on, I guess, her situation in the sense of, I do agree with him. I wouldn't say it's impossible. Um, but I would say that when he makes the point that, um, if a woman, like for example, does have a child and the man doesn't,
Hmm.
that may be a hang up with him. Um, just because some men feel feel different ways. Some feel like, hey, if this is a woman that I really like, that is my soulmate, then
Hmm.
I understand her child is going to come, with this.
Hmm.
There are some men who are the opposite, who feel, they want to, this, like I said, this is all assuming they don't have kids themselves. They feel like, they want to start with a woman who doesn't have a family already. So
Hmm.
I don't think saying that you should give it up um is the right take on it, but I do think you have to look at you have to look at it on a case by case basis with something like that.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's gonna mean different things to different people.
mhm. Yeah, but instead of presenting her, okay, you might run into this with these type of men or this, and that it's going to be hard. But I'm not saying that it's going to be impossible. But he fixated on her age, her look, the fact that she has a child, that she said the phrase "a man on her level," and he's pretty much saying being insulting, even though the fact that he says that you need to be with men on your level. But yeah, so instead of just saying, okay, it's gonna be harder. These men, you might run into one like this, or you might run into one like that, you know. But hey, it's hard to tell. You might meet one that will be okay with all that. But he just pretty much buried it and insulted her, and saying that she was gonna die alone.
Nah,
It's like, mhm,
he was being too harsh there.
yeah.
You can't tell someone they're gonna die alone. Um, because I mean, just because a woman has a child, even if she says, runs into a man who doesn't want to deal with the child, let's say like that, or doesn't want to start a family for one with a child, there's nothing that says that that child can't grow up and that woman can start dating, once that child is older, out of the house, this and that, because fewer and fewer people are getting married. And you're seeing divorces even with people in older age, or people dying off. Now, I will say this, women do tend to live a little bit longer than men. So it kind of does, once again, make it a little bit more difficult. Um, and when you start talking about the income piece as well, black men, out of all the groups of men, I think maybe Hispanic men we may make more of, but on average, black men are going to make less than Asian and white men. So it kind of becomes a deal where if you go up the income ladder, because I think there's been a YouTuber who's made a video. He said roughly, if you want to be in the top 10% of black men, you need to make like $96,000 a year. Um, Versus I believe the top 10% of like Asian men was like 150 and up, and like I believe for white men it was like 120, 130-ish maybe. So, as you get to those higher income brackets, there may be fewer and fewer black men, and you may have to look at, especially with women, because from my understand, from what I've seen, women are a little bit less comfortable with dating down than men are,
Hmm.
in the sense of like accomplishment, like a man who's a lawyer, you know, to me seems like he would be more apt to date, you know, a woman who, I don't know, uh, an executive admin or something like that, and like an executive assistant. You know, he seems more apt to be fine with doing that versus a woman, dating a man in a lower status profession than she is. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay. Well, It was interesting to talk with you, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to close it up. Something happened. Max won't be able to make it back.
Okay.
So hey, just be on the lookout. You subscribe to us, hit the bell, and catch us the next time we're live. And
Okay. How often do y'all normally go live?
Mhm.
How often y'all normally go live? You and Max.
uh, 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 I would say about 2 or 3 times a week, but there's
Okay.
been an uptick. So shucks, we could go live again as late as this evening or tonight,
Okay.
the next day.
Okay. And it's always the two of y'all.
Most of the time it's the two of us, or it's gonna be him and I'm gonna be the tech in the background. But yeah,
Okay.
we the main two.
Okay. No, I'll be on the lookout for it. Thanks for letting me come up.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Yeah, feel bad for Matt because he really wanted to talk with you. All right, everybody. We're gonna close it out. We'll catch you next time. Now remember, y'all, ladies' night been moved to an earlier time. It is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means Central is at 5, Pacific. Wait. Let me make sure I got this all right. Let me see. Well, anyway, everybody's an hour behind us. So if you're in the California area or Seattle area, you're gonna be looking at maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. So I'll catch y'all next Saturday if I don't catch you any sooner. Thank y'all for coming. Peace, power, and unity. Until next time.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game, going for mine. Alright. And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, cookies cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive, peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the
Damn, cut the music.
In the class, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me.
Damn, cut the music. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm back. I had a issue to deal with. Sorry it took so long getting back. Damn, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh shucks. I hope Renaissance man
That's okay.
hasn't left the building yet.
All right, that's all right. If they come back, whatever. My bad. I had an issue I had to deal with. Oh boy. Okay. Let's take a look at the chat. What's going on in the chat?
People are marrying who they want to marry. Income has nothing to do with it. People who are wealthy cheat on their spouses all the time. They're not happy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And somebody.
Bashar Abdullah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The topic was the flip side of the coin. Basically, what we're talking about are people who are opposite, but they're actually the same. You know, they are the flip side of the same coin. And I was talking about Kevin Samuels and Derek Jackson, who, you know, they're pretty much the same guy. One just an outright liar, and the other one just don't give a shit. Okay, so, but yeah, people are marrying who they want to, marry. But now there's a situation where there's this growing trend, right, of telling women who they cannot be with because of a certain social status in their life. They're saying that, okay, if you are a waitress and you're making minimum wage, you can't talk to a guy who's making 6 figures. You don't have any right to talk to someone that or pursue someone of that caliber in a relationship because you make minimum wage. I'm trying to figure out who the hell gave them that authority to. My bad. I'm still trying to figure out who the hell gave them that authority. You know, it says, when did black women anoint these guys as their spokesman? You know, Dame, where's
Yeah.
my sidekick? Yeah,
Hello.
who gave them the authority to say that a woman cannot pursue a man of high caliber simply because she may be a waitress or she may be stuck in a low level job? Who said that? When did those rules get set into play? As
Um.
far as, far as I've already known, as far as I've always known, fair game is fair game. People are people. People are attracted to whoever they are attracted to, no matter what social status there is. I never knew that there was a some kind of unwritten rule that you couldn't go after someone that you like simply because they were in a higher social status or financial status than you were.
Mhm.
Man,
Yeah.
I mean, in a situation like that, are you really pursuing a person for a real relationship, or you're pursuing a person's assets? You know, I guess if you want to have a relationship with a person's assets, I guess it depends on what you really want in a relationship. Is anybody looking for love anymore in a relationship? You know, love still matters, you know. I know that there's this all out campaign to tell you that love doesn't matter and love doesn't mean anything, but nothing can be further from the truth. Love still matters. Okay, women still believe in love. There are men out here who still believe in love. Love still carries the day at the end of the day. Now you have people out here who are incapable of loving other people. And they want to try to project that on other people. Don't project your inability on me because you are incapable of loving someone. That's not my concern. I have no, I have no, I have no connection to that. But they're trying to put us all in the same area. They're trying to put us all in the same box. They've created this fictitious male called a high value male. And this high value male is supposed to be the premier male that black women should pursue, irregardless of any other males out there. He's six-figured, and he's high value. Now, we don't know what high value really means. According to them, the high value has a dollar sign on it. It's a financial figure. It's a number.
Hi,
All right,
I was supposed to go pad.
up there.
Can you help me? I'm sorry. How you doing today?
Uh-huh.
We're supposed to go pay
Up there.
in that store.
All right. Well, while Max is dealing with that, yeah, they seem to have the only value that a high value male has is his money. You know, not his character, not how he treat people, not how he treats himself, but his money, and that seemed to be all he needs to have to be a high value male.
Yeah, but does that matter anymore, Dame? I mean, you're a woman, you're a black woman. Does it matter to you anymore, the character of the guy, or does it matter more that he has resources, financial resources, or superficial resources?
Okay, well, the character does matter because he could have all the money in the world and still be a stingy, mean, abusive person.
Yeah, but does that matter anymore, right? I mean, you have women now who are saying that they're willing to be abused to have a guy like this. You know, are you willing to take abuse and constantly be in competition with women half your age for a guy like Kevin Samuels?
No, but they're gonna find out just like every other woman who thought that no amount of money is worth that kind of abuse.
Well, you know what's funny about these guys, they say they have value, right? But they're
Hmm.
not with any women. If they're so high value, if they're what women are looking for, then how
Hmm.
come they don't have any women? They're not with women. See, to me, this is an excuse to get away with women not wanting you. You
Hmm.
see, when women don't want you, women don't desire you, or they're not checking for you, or they
Hmm.
think that you're an impossible person to be with, and you're
Hmm.
unlucky with the ladies, you create this kind of fictitious person or this fictitious persona
Hmm.
to overshadow that, to make it seem like, hey, it's their loss. I'm the man. I don't need to be with this woman. I choose the woman I want to be with. So they make you think that they're wanted by all these women and that they have to pick up the litter and they haven't chosen the woman yet. That's why they're not with one. You see, all of this is just a cover up for the fact that they're not desired by women. One of the reasons why they hated Derek Jackson so much is because Derek Jackson could get women. You know, that's one of the reasons why they hated him so much. It's one of the reasons why they didn't like Rob is because he was with Cynthia G. And a lot of them love Cynthia G. They want to be with Cynthia G because she's a beautiful black woman. And she wouldn't give none of them the time of day. So the situation here is you have these guys who are nothing but dreamers, who are impossible people. Now, you think about it. The way they talk to women, look how quick dude's attitude get when a woman says something that he don't like, or when a woman says something out of turn. Look how angry these guys get. I mean, they get real angry. They call them out their name. They curse at them. So you have a direct look at what their character is really like. And so at that point, are you surprised that Samuels is divorced twice? No, I'm not. And would you believe that he's a man that's sought after by many women? Well, if you believe that, I got the Brooklyn Bridge to sell you. What's up, Dane?
Okay,
Where's
yeah. So the Brooklyn Bridge, you know how often that bridge is attempting to be sold by people who
right,
believe it's for sale?
right, and like I said, you have a situation where you have men that cannot get women. Women do not desire these kind of men, and rightfully so. Look at their attitudes towards women. I mean, I watch some of these podcasts. As soon as the woman says something either incorrect or she may speak out of turn, these guys go crazy. They call her all kinds of bees and yell at her and stuff. I mean, I don't see a woman accepting that kind of behavior in a relationship. And taking pictures with cute women doesn't mean that you are desired by women. A lot of women just like public figures, you know. Oh, that's so and so that's on YouTube, you know, and try to take pictures with beautiful women. You feel that that gives you credibility with the ladies. It's like, well, look at the picture he took with this beautiful black woman. That doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to get on out of here. I got some pressing matters to take care of that just can't put to the side. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Shout out to Renaissance Man for coming up. Shout out to Bro Speaking, everybody in the chat. We'll probably see you sometime tomorrow or probably Tuesday. All right. All right, everybody, take it easy. Dan, you got the music queued up?
Yeah. Yes, it's queued up. It's queued up.
Appreciate the support. Okay, Dame, hit it. Get us out of here. Appreciate the support. Peace, power, unity, and shout out to DMX. I heard that he's getting better, so let's keep DMX in our prayers, all right? Yeah, Dame, hit it.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game going for fine. Alright. And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the real.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, with 4.5. Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see it spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off. Using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Invested in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. Yeah, get yours, I get down for mine. I get down for this. Get your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for this. On the regular shit, turn no fair. I get down for mine. I get down for this. Get your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for this. On the regular shit. I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't some place you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. With this a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AK. You in a daze, overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. The karma's a boot smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics and sticking the brains like barnacles. Never sweet. I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine.